Long before the rise of cities, kingdoms, or even humanity itself, the ancient Greeks imagined a universe ruled not by order, but by primordial forces. In the beginning there was chaos, not chaos in the modern sense of confusion, but a vast and formless emptiness from which all existence would eventually emerge. From this void came the first beings: Gaia, the earth; Uranus, the sky; Tartarus, the deep abyss beneath the world; and other primordial entities who represented the fundamental elements of creation. Together, Gaia and Uranus gave birth to a powerful race known as the Titans, immense beings whose strength and influence shaped the earliest age of the cosmos. Among the Titans was Cronus, the youngest and most ambitious of his siblings. Though powerful, Cronus lived under the shadow of his father, Uranus, whose rule was marked by fear and cruelty. According to the myth, Uranus imprisoned several of his own children deep within the earth, fearing their strength and potential. Gaia, burdened by the suffering of her imprisoned offspring, sought someone willing to challenge the tyrant. Only Cronus accepted the task. Armed with a great sickle forged by his mother, he ambushed Uranus and overthrew him, ending his father's reign and becoming the new ruler of the universe. Yet the victory brought little peace. Before relinquishing power, Uranus pronounced a prophecy that would shape the fate of the generations to come. Just as Cronus had overthrown his father, so too would one of his own children someday overthrow him. The warning took root in Cronus's mind, growing into an overwhelming fear that no victory could silence. When Cronus married his sister Rhea, the prophecy seemed distant at first. But as their children were born, his fear became stronger than his love. Each time Rhea gave birth, to Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, Cronus seized the newborn child and swallowed it whole. Because the gods were immortal, they did not die within him, but remained trapped inside their father's body. With every child lost, Rhea's grief deepened, and the house of the Titans grew darker beneath the weight of fear. When Rhea became pregnant once more, she resolved that her sixth child would not suffer the same fate. Seeking guidance, she turned to Gaia and to Uranus, who advised her to hide the infant far from Cronus's reach. She traveled to the island of Crete, where, in a secluded cave upon Mount Ida, though some traditions name Mount Dicte, she gave birth to a son, Zeus. To deceive Cronus, Rhea wrapped a large stone in swaddling clothes and presented it as the newborn child. Consumed by his terror of the prophecy, Cronus swallowed the stone without question, believing he had once again secured his future. Unaware of the deception, he continued his reign while Zeus grew in secret, hidden from the eyes of the Titan king. Many legends describe the extraordinary measures taken to protect the young god. The infant Zeus was cared for by the nymph Amalthea, who in some traditions was a gentlewoman, and in others a miraculous goat, whose milk nourished the future ruler of Olympus. Around the cave stood the Curetes, fierce armored guardians who clashed their shields and spears whenever Zeus cried. Their thunderous noise concealed the infant's voice, ensuring that Cronus would never hear the child whose very existence threatened his throne. As Zeus matured, he became aware of the fate of his brothers and sisters. Unlike his father, whose rule had been driven by suspicion, Zeus sought allies rather than isolation. Guided by wisdom and careful planning, he devised a way to confront Cronus. With the help of the Titaness Metis, renowned for her intelligence, Zeus prepared a potion that forced Cronus to disgorge everything he had swallowed. One by one, the immortal children emerged, fully alive and unchanged, despite the years they had spent imprisoned within their father's body. The stone that Cronus had mistaken for Zeus was also expelled and, according to later tradition, placed at Delphi as a sacred monument. The reunion of the siblings marked the beginning of one of Greek mythology's greatest conflicts, the Titanomachy. For 10 years, the Olympian gods battled the Titans in a war that shook the heavens, the earth, and the depths below. Neither side could claim victory until Zeus sought the aid of powerful beings whom Cronus had left imprisoned. Deep within Tartarus, the Cyclopes and the Hundred-Handed Ones remained chained since the days of Uranus. Zeus freed them, and in gratitude they forged mighty gifts for their liberators. The Cyclopes crafted Zeus's greatest weapon, the thunderbolt. To Poseidon they gave the trident, capable of commanding the seas, and to Hades they granted the Helm of Darkness, a helmet that rendered its wearer invisible. Armed with these divine treasures and supported by their new allies, the Olympians gained the advantage they had long lacked. The final battles were said to be unlike anything mortals could imagine. Mountains split apart, oceans surged beyond their shores, and lightning illuminated the sky without end. At last the Titans were defeated. Many were cast into Tartarus, where they were confined beneath the watch of the hundred-handed ones. Cronus himself vanished from power, his reign brought to an end by the very destiny he had tried so desperately to escape. With victory secured, Zeus and his brothers divided authority over the cosmos. Zeus became ruler of the heavens and king of the gods. Poseidon received dominion over the seas, while Hades became lord of the underworld. The earth itself remained shared among all, while Mount Olympus became the home of the new divine order. The myth of Zeus's birth is more than the story of a god's rise to power. It reflects themes that appear throughout Greek mythology: the cycle of generations, the fear of losing authority, and the belief that destiny cannot be avoided. Uranus sought to suppress his children and was overthrown. Cronus attempted to outwit prophecy by consuming his offspring, only to bring about the future he feared. Zeus, by contrast, established his rule not only through strength, but through alliances, wisdom, and the restoration of balance after an age of tyranny. For the ancient Greeks, this myth explained more than the origin of their chief deity. It illustrated how power changes hands, how justice may emerge from oppression, and how even the mightiest rulers remain subject to fate. In the end, Zeus did not simply inherit the heavens. He became the symbol of a new cosmic order, one that transformed the universe from the rule of fear into the age of the Olympian gods. A story that would shape Greek religion, literature, and imagination for centuries to come.